Hey guys, welcome back to another video from this engine. Today we are going to talk about a brand that we've all heard of. It has got through with brakes, and the brand is called EBC. I'm sure we've all heard of this brake pad company because it's done so well in the country. EBC is a UK company that has been in the industry for a long amount of time, and over the past few years they've really upped their research and development and got out some great products for the motorbike segment. EBC makes some sintered brake pads, semi-sintered brake pads, organic brake pads. There are a ton of videos out there showing the differences between all three of them. Today I'm going to talk about the different compounds that EBC offers in the sintered brake pad range. So their baseline sintered brake pad is the FAHH, which is what this brake pad is. It's a FAHH sintered brake pad. So double H stands for sintered, but the FA means it's the base. Above this you've got the EPFA, and above that you've got the GPFA brake pad, right? So what is the difference between these, and what do you think will work the best for you? All of these three pads work in a certain temperature window. That is the most important thing. How much heat can you generate in these brake pads is what defines what brake pad will work best for you. As you go higher up the ladder, the more heat it can handle, but also it requires a more amount of heat for them to work at the best possible rate. So these are a set of EBC-EPFA brake pads that I have used on my motorcycle. In the past on some track days, right? These are a big improvement over the FA brake pads. Now the FA brake pads are pretty good for the road, right? Most riders are not going to feel the need to go over the FA brake pads because they work phenomenally well on the road in the heat that you're going to add on the road. However, let's say that you are an aggressive braker or you do the occasional track day. Now, if you are on a track day scenario, you generally tend to brake a lot harder and you put a lot of heat into your braking system. In that case, you might overdo the FA brake pads. When I used to use the FA brake pads and I started picking up the pace, they would overheat. They would not give me the extra braking performance that I needed on the racetrack. So then I switched to the EPFA, which was a big enough improvement. Now, these brake pads are a decent bit more expensive than your standard FA brake pads, but they do give you the extra performance, right? Now, is this brake pad suitable for you? There are two scenarios in which these might work for you, right? The only thing to keep in mind is the amount of heat you are putting in your braking system. How do you know if you are putting enough heat in your braking system? Let's look at two scenarios, right? Let's say that you are not an aggressive braker. In that case, if you are not an aggressive braker, you might not put enough heat into your braking system. However, what we do need to think about is the weight of your motorcycle. If you are riding a heavy motorcycle, something like a Rocket 3 for example, or a Ninja 1000 for example, even though you are not going to be very aggressive on your brakes, the EPFA might work for you because every time you are braking, you are putting a lot of heat into your system because the weight of the motorcycle is that much, right? On the other end of the spectrum, let's say you're on a light motorcycle, you're on an RC390 or a Ninja 300 or something, but you attack each and every corner that you see or each and every obstacle on the road, and you're the last to brake and for every single thing, even for a speed breaker, right? That will make sure that your braking system stays pretty hot. Now, if you're going to keep your braking system that hot, you would need a brake pad that can withstand those higher temperatures, and in that scenario, the EPFA might work for you. If you are someone who goes to the racetrack and who rides purely on the racetrack, then you might want to consider the GPFA racetrack, which is a pure track brake pad that is not for the road, because no matter what you do, no matter what you ride, you are not going to build enough temperature for those brake pads to work on the road. Also, if those brake pads get dirty, which has a high scenario when you're riding on the road, they are not going to perform that well. So I will not recommend you riding the GPFA on the road at all. However, the EPFA is something that you can consider. Two scenarios: if you are a lightweight rider who is not that aggressive on the brakes, or who just does some touring or chill riding on the road, I would not recommend the EPFA because they are not going to perform that well. They need a certain amount of heat, certain amount of temperature for them to work well. But if you are on something like an intruder or a heavy cruiser or a heavy sport tourer, or you are carrying pillion with a lot of luggage and you are going on tours on a heavy motorcycle, right, in that scenario the EPFA might work for you. However, it completely depends on what your riding style is, right? If you are considering better braking, and if you think that better brakes is something that you want from your motorcycle, you can hit us up. We can look at your particular case scenario, your riding style, your environment where you ride, and the speeds at which you ride at, and then we can decide what brake pad might work the best for you. You need any advice, hit us up and we'll make sure that you have the best braking available. Thank you. See you next time.